What up, y'all boys? I'm gonna dive right into this topic, bro. This shit is not for the weak, bro. Let me tell you right now, this shit is not for the weak, bro. Being on your purpose is not for the weak. Trying to accomplish things, monumental things in this life is not for the weak. Wanting to be great in this generation is not for the weak. Wanting to be excellent in this lifetime is not for the weak, bro. Bro, when you are chasing a purpose, when you are chasing a dream, when you are forming into your authentic self and you are constantly improving, constantly elevating, people are going to knock you down. People are going to try to hold you back, bro. I feel like people don't want to see other people grow because that growth makes other people feel uncomfortable. Let me repeat that. Most of the people around you don't want to see you grow because that growth makes them feel uncomfortable. For example, when you start to grow, when you start to improve, when you start to make more money, when you start to think differently, when you start to escape the rat race that people are in, when you start to escape the conventional way of thinking that you need to abide by a certain rule in society in order to be perceived as successful, if you know what I'm talking about, people start to treat you differently. People start to outcast you. In the Bible, it says that there is no prophet that is accepted in his hometown. Let me repeat that for a second. There is no prophet that is accepted and welcomed as a hero in his hometown. What that basically means is that all the people around you, they don't want to see you become successful because this journey isn't for everybody, bro. If you're not a chosen one, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But this journey isn't for everybody. The journey of self-improvement isn't for everybody. The journey of wanting to be excellent isn't for everybody. The journey of wanting to achieve monumental things in this lifetime isn't for everybody. The journey of wanting to be a multi-millionaire rock star isn't for everybody. The journey of wanting to influence people and change the way people think is not for everybody, and it's not for the weak. So when you start to get a little bit of influence, when you start to get a little bit of traction, when you start to get a little bit of sauce, you know what I'm saying? People around you can see that, bro. People around you, the reason they be hating on you, bro, is because you aren't even self-aware enough to realize your own potential, bro. And the people around you realize your potential before you realize it. So they try to downplay you. They try to make you feel down. They try to make you feel small. So that way you don't realize your potential and surpass them. So when you start to realize your potential, they really start to feel some type of way about it, bro. And then they'll outcast you. They'll play head games. They try to keep you down. They try to keep you in that bucket. Why do you think rappers never go back to their hometown? Because they fucking get killed in their hometown, bro. Look at what happened to X. Look what happened to Nipsey. 50 Cent got shot in New York. You know what I'm saying? All these people have died and had violence taken out on them in their hometown when they started to what? Self-improve. Not everybody wants to see you self-improve. The people around you aren't going to understand. You guys need to get that through your heads. And when you start growing spiritually, bro, you're going to realize that it's going to really cut you deep. Because everybody thinks the spiritual awakening is going to be some type of sunshine and rainbows. When you start to become spiritually aware, when you start to become spiritually in tune, people think it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows, bro. Shit is not for the weak. You start to realize that your family members are caught up in a certain way of thinking and their vibration is lower than yours and will always be lower than yours. And you're going to break your heart trying to pull them up, trying to bring them up, but you're really just hurting yourself because you can't save everybody. It's the same reason for when you get rich, you try to come back and help certain people, but they cannot be helped. It's the reason why when you start to grow spiritually, you're going to really hurt yourself because you realize that everyone around you is doing things wrong. Everyone around you is eating wrong. Everyone around you isn't prayed up. Everyone around you isn't aware of what they're programming themselves. So when you start to try to help people, you're going to break your heart doing so. And you're lowering your own vibration doing so. It's like a double-edged sword. You raise your own vibration, you raise your own spiritual awakening, you raise your own mental capacity and way of thinking, and you realize that everything's a scam. You realize that everything's cap. So you start trying to help people. You start trying to bring people up, but you realize they can't be helped. You ever had that one friend that you spent so much time trying to help him out, trying to get him out of a bad situation, and he always goes back in that same bad situation? Why? Because he does not want to be helped. A lot of the people around you don't want to be saved. And when you come to terms with that and just accept it and love people for how they are and detach yourself from the emotional investment of trying to help everybody, that's when things start coming to you. And I'm speaking to you guys as advice for myself, so I can come back and watch this video and say, damn, CG, you know what I'm saying? You really got to do that, bro. It's not for the weak, because when you start trying to go on a mission, not everybody's going to understand. Everybody's going to hit you with the why you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why don't you come out with us? You're going to miss out on parties. You're going to miss out on going to the club. You're going to miss out on going to the bar. You're going to miss out on ass chasing. You're going to miss out on all these quote unquote memories to invest in yourself and delay your gratification. Stacking money, working hard, working late nights, working 2-3 jobs, hustling. So that way one day you can have enough money to be financially situated, because you don't want a regular life, because you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, because you don't want to be a slave to the matrix, because you want to live comfortably, because you want to have nice things, because you want to flex a little bit, because you want to not live the way that everyone else is living around you, because you realize that it's a scam, because you realize that it's not right. But all these people around you aren't going to understand that, bro. That's why I encourage you guys to move to a bigger city, because your parents aren't going to understand your mission. They want you to be safe. It's not that they don't want you to be successful. They want you to be safe, and they want you to be their version of successful. You have to detach yourself from trying to please everybody else. You have to not care about what other people think of you. And you have to affirm that in your mind every single day, because you're going to realize that you're going to break your heart trying to please everybody else. You're going to lower yourself to please everybody else. And you should not do that, because then all of a sudden you're going to live with regrets, bro. You listen to your parents, bro. They grew up in a different generation. You could go to college, get a degree, work a regular 9-to-5, pay for your kids to go to school, buy a car, buy a house, pay for rent, and live comfortably off that 9-to-5. Now you cannot do that. And I think people are realizing that. So what I'm saying is that their information is outdated, so you can't listen to your parents. You can't listen to their version of success, because they don't want you to be some athletic, jacked rock star with hoes and nice cars, and you're able to travel and do this and do that. No, they just want you safe, bro. It's not that they don't want you successful, but they want you safe. So you can't listen to what they got to say, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they grew up in a different generation. Love them as they are. Love them as your parents. Honor thy father and mother. But you honor them by becoming massively successful. Then you spin back and help them out after. Don't try to sit there and argue and waste all your energy and lower your vibration trying to argue with people that are programmed by the matrix and grew up in a different generation. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's just a recipe for disaster. And I'm saying that to myself, because my family doesn't see anything that I do. They aren't proud that I'm a YouTuber. They're not proud that I'm about to be a pro football player, that I am a pro football player, basically. They're not proud of none of that. They want me to go back to school, go get my master's, go work a regular 9-to-5, work paycheck to paycheck, be a slave, be a worker drone. That's what they did. So I can't be mad at them, because they worked out and everything was successful. But I want differently for myself. And a lot of you guys watching this, you guys are watching me and allowing me to program you, because you guys also want differently for yourself. You guys want more out of this life. You guys want the best human existence possible. Granted, I've had a great human existence, and I'm grateful for everything on this planet, but I want more. I want a supercar. I want to be able to do what I want. I want nice things. I want diamond watches. I want more. I always need more. I'm constantly striving for more. So what does that mean? You have to program yourself with the mindset to be able to get more. You have to do daily action to be able to get more. And the crazy thing is Meek Mill said it. He said, all of a sudden I started praying for protection or whatever, and I started losing friends. I started praying for God to eliminate the bad people around me, and I started losing friends. I asked God for protection, bro, and I started losing friends. I asked God to help me become a multimillionaire. I started losing friends. I asked God to help me become a multimillionaire. I started losing money. Why? Because God isn't, you guys have to understand, you guys have to be in tune with God, bro. You guys think God is just going to give you everything you want without teaching you the lessons, bro. You need to go through the lessons and go through the fire to learn the lessons. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I shall fear no evil. You have no fear, but you still need to walk through the valley, bro. You still need to understand that you're going to ask God for a lesson. You're going to pray for certain things, but God is going to make you go through a bad situation to learn that lesson, to be able to apply that lesson later on in life, to be able to hold on to the blessings that he's going to give you. So when I started praying to become rich, I made a lot of money, like over 10K a month type money. All of a sudden, boom, I lost it all. 2 of my businesses went to hell. All my partners took money from me. Now I'm back in a bad situation. So, but now God gave me the lessons, because I wasn't ready for it, bro. When God doesn't give you what you want, and when you don't have what you want in life, bro, you need to sit back and think, okay, what is God trying to teach me right now? What is God trying to tell me right now? What am I trying to learn from this situation? Because then you guys will get mad at God, and you guys will get away from prayer, bro. You need to pray when times are good and thank God when times are good, but you also need to be aware, and you need to thank God when times are bad. You need to thank God for the lessons he teaches you when times are bad. You need to understand the lessons that he's teaching you and apply them. So that way, next time when I am making over 10K a month again, at that point, I'm able to keep it, because now I have the wisdom to be able to keep it and to be able to build a nest egg and to be able to grow it. I asked God for protection. I started losing friends. I asked God for protection. And all of a sudden, as I get closer and closer to my goal, now my family wants to pull me back because they can smell the success on me. Not everyone in my family, but some of them, they're mad that I'm achieving what I want. You need to be very, very, very careful of the people that always ask you how, but never, ever say congratulations, dog. You pull off something crazy, you play in a crazy game, you do a crazy thing, you're at a nice trip, you got a nice job, you got a nice car. First thing people say is never, hey, congrats, bro. It's always, how'd you do that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You need to be wary of them friends that they're like, yo, come on, let's pop out to the club, pop out to the bar. Nah, fam, I can't. I got to work. Why, bro? What do you mean? You think you're better than this? Why are you doing that? You got to be wary you're a girl, bro, because all of a sudden you start hitting the gym extra, you start picking up extra shifts. Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because you're talking to somebody. Never, I'm proud of you for how hard you're working to provide a better life for us. It's always, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You buy nice cars. Never your family member saying, hey, congratulations, you know, that's a really nice car. Not all of them, but most of them. It's how'd you do it? How'd you afford that? What are you doing? Make sure everything's by the book. Be careful of what you do. You got to be wary of all those people, bro. You have to love them and be kind to them, but distance yourself from them. Okay, that's how you moving? Boom, I'm over here. You over here, I'm over here. Cool. Worry about the results, bro. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all get caught up in the noise, bro. I'm speaking for myself because sometimes I get caught up in the noise. I'll be upset because my family don't want me to do this. They don't want me to be a pro football playing multi-millionaire rock star, millions of dollars using followers. They want me to, you know, work in an office, be a slave, do all that. And I don't want to do that. I want more for myself. So they get mad and they feel some type of way about it. So they try to pull you back. You have to be very, very, very wary of who you let program you and who you let influence you. Because if you need to stop listening to people who don't have what you want. You know what I'm saying? If you're a pro football player, rock star, I'll take your advice. I'll listen to you. If you have a supercar, I will listen to you. If you have the things that I want in life, I will listen to you. But why would you listen to someone who's never walked the path? So you guys need to be very, very, very careful of who you allow to program you. You guys need to watch out for those people that always ask how but never say congratulations. You need to be very, very, very aware of what the lessons that what you're praying for, God is going to give you. But God is going to teach you the lesson before he gives you what you want. You need to be worthy to be able to hold on to the blessing that he's going to give you. Because I realized that if I had made a bunch of money back then, like millions of dollars back at 22 years old, I would have blew it all and been in a worse situation than I am now. I'm blessed because God always provides while teaching you the lesson. But you also need to be wary of the lesson and learn to apply it, so that way when he does bless you again, you are ready for it. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all, I really just want to drop this little gem for y'all. CG signing. I'm